Alright guys, welcome back to Redstone for Dummies. Today, we're going to go over what is called the XOR gate. The XOR gate is basically the same thing as an OR gate, which will always output a signal if one or both inputs are on, but the XOR gate will only output a signal if one or the other is on, not if both are on. So if both levers or both inputs are the same, either both on or both off, the output will always be off right here. So one of them is on, the output is on. Both of them are the same thing, the output is off. We're going to go over 4 different kinds of XOR gate. First one is this one right here, and that one is a little bit special. It's got 2 levers on the same block for the inputs. So here, if I turn on one of the levers, doesn't matter which one, let's say this one here, you're gonna see that it turns off this redstone torch, and this redstone dust turns off as well. That one stays on because that lever is turned on. So it doesn't matter which one I turn on, either this one or that one. The redstone dust that's on the opposite side of it, so right here for this lever, and for this lever it's this one right here. This one will turn off, which will keep that torch on. And since the other piece of redstone dust will stay on, it will keep that redstone torch off. So since there is at least one torch that is on, the signal here is on, which goes to the piston. If I turn on both, you're going to see that both redstone dusts are on, which turns off the redstone torch, and then that signal here is off. So when both levers are on, it doesn't output a signal. If only one of them is on, you're going to see signal goes out. If this one is on, signal goes out. If they're both off, then signal goes off. Alright, this one is a tiny bit more complicated. Let's say if I turn this lever here, it's going to power this redstone dust, which will turn off this redstone torch. And since the torch is off, this pieces of dust will turn off, which will turn on that torch, and then it just powers the piston. If I turn on the other one, same thing happens on the other side. And here's the thing. So, since these torches are on, this redstone dust on top here will always stay on as long as one of these two is still powered. And if this redstone dust turns off, then this torch goes on, which will power these 2 dusts and then keep these torches off. So if, let's say, I turn on this lever, then that part goes off, which will turn on this torch, which powers the circuit. If I turn on the other one, same thing happens on the other side. So that torch goes on, powers the circuit. And if I turn on both, in that case, both torches here are off. That redstone dust turns off as well, which will turn on this redstone torch and then powers these dust and keeps these torch off, which will retract the piston. So again, if both levers are on, circuit is off. One of them is on, piston goes up, and if they're both off, piston stays down. Alright, so this one looks really weird. First of all, we've got 2 repeaters and a piston in the same gate, which we don't see that often. But yeah, let's go over it real quick. If I turn on this lever, piston will extend. If I turn it off, piston will retract, moving that block from left to right. Here, if I turn on this lever, the powered repeater will just switch. So now it's off. This repeater is powered. If I turn it on, then this one stays powered. The other one goes off. So basically, if one of the levers is on, let's say this one here, you're going to see that the current goes through the block, powers the redstone dust on the other side, and powers the piston. If I turn on only this one, then it moves the block all the way up to the powered repeater, which powers the circuit, and then it stays powered. If I turn on both, in that case, the block is pushed towards the repeater that's turned off, and the turned on repeater will just do nothing. And if both of them are off, in that case, again, the block is facing the turned off repeater. The turned on one will just not do anything. Alright, and the last one is also a little bit complicated. First of all, we've got 2 levers again, and a 3 redstone torch. At first, both levers are off, this torch is on, which powers these 4 pieces of redstone dust, and these 2 here in the corner will turn off these redstone torch, which will keep the circuit off. So here's the thing, on the other side we've got this redstone dust piece that's beneath this block, and that's the most important part. If I turn on one lever, it powers that repeater, which will power both the redstone on the block and the one beside the block, and when we power this redstone dust, it's going to turn off this torch, and this torch has been turned off not by this redstone dust, but by the one below it. So the thing is, this dust that's below this block will power the green block, the block of the redstone torch, and since this block is powered, it turns off this torch. That block is only here to prevent the redstone dust to be linked to the other side. That's why you've got to keep it here. And same thing happens on the other side. If I turn off this lever and turn on this one, then again the same thing but the opposite. This side stays on, this one goes off, and this torch goes off because of the redstone dust that's just beneath this sandstone block. And now there is one torch that's on, and the circuit is on. If I turn on both, in that case, both sides here are on, which will mimic the first state where both torches are off, but this time this torch is off because of that redstone dust that's just beneath the sandstone block, but that doesn't change the output here. Alright guys, so that was it for the XOR gate. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, as always, like the video, subscribe to see more videos, go check out my Facebook page for some random and funny posts, and again, thanks for watching guys, and have a good day.